The soft music starts, a strange contrast to what's about to unfold. The mother, the narrator, begins to reminisce about her son George, who always attracted strange kids. A chilling memory rises, like a thorn pricking her mind. The year George was in 4th grade, the family had just moved. George, who was an outgoing child, quickly settled in. She met the parents of his classmates, people who seemed decent. But then, a call from school, an urgent request. Anger and confusion churned within her. "George, in a fight?" That wasn't like her son. On the way to the principal's office, George's silence only made her more worried. The principal began asking familiar questions. How is George's behavior at home? Is he well behaved? She could only say good things. Then, the truth was revealed. A small altercation after recess. George, hitting Sebastian on the head with seiner Asa. Unbelievable. Sebastian, a friend, a boy George always spoke highly of. When George opened up, the truth was even more frightening. A pretend game, a drama staged by Sebastian. George, just a puppet. The mother, furious, found the phone number of Sebastian's mother, Maggie. A sweet voice, a woman who seemed genuine. Maggie said that Sebastian had behavioral problems, that he sometimes acted like someone else. Then, a strange offer, a sleepover for the two boys to make amends. The mother hesitated, but Maggie convinced her. At Maggie's house, she and Maggie chatted, drank wine, while the two children played in the basement. Maggie revealed that Sebastian had difficulty making friends, that he had seen a few doctors. She reassured her that George would be safe. But the next morning, the horrifying truth was revealed. In the car, George recounted a terrifying night. Whispering from the bathroom, a faint light like a candle. Sebastian, talking to himself, calling himself Mr. Jim. 10. Silence. Darkness. 10. Whispering right up over George. Incomprehensible words. Not English. George, frozen with fear. The mother horrified. Intuition told her that this was not just children's imagination. She called Maggie, who initially laughed it off, but then admitted Sebastian's serious problems. A psychiatrist even suggested he showed signs of multiple personality disorder. The family had moved twice because Sebastian was expelled from school. Anger, horror, helplessness. She promised to think about reporting the incident, but she didn't get the chance. Sebastian attacked another student again. He was expelled. The mother tried to call Maggie, but the phone number was disconnected. The house, vacant. They disappeared, as if they had never existed. Years passed. George had forgotten, but the mother hadn't. She always wondered what had happened to her son that night, in the dark basement. She always wondered what had happened to Sebastian, the little demon with the face of an angel. A lingering fear, a ghost that never let her go. The house. It stood proudly on the hilltop, a Gothic structure both majestic and melancholic. No one truly knew its age, only that it had witnessed generations of a family. Now it was Sarah's turn, a single mother, along with her two sons, Tom and Jake, to set foot inside. The rent was cheap, the location beautiful, but there was something off. The first night passed in silence, only the wind whistling through the window cracks and the creaking of old floorboards. But on the second night, things began to change. The clock hand crept towards 1:30 a.m. Pale moonlight streamed through Tom's window, illuminating his sleeping face. Then, a small sound, very faint, like a mouse scurrying. Tom frowned, then bolted upright, his eyes wide open, but vacant. He left the bed, stepped out of the room, and walked down the long dark hallway. Each of his bare footsteps echoed in the deathly silence. He stopped before a blank wall, where the moonlight couldn't reach. Then, he slowly pressed his forehead against the wall. Tap, tap. The gentle, rhythmic tapping echoed in the night. 1, 2, 3, 4. The tapping continued, relentless. In her bedroom, Sarah woke up. She felt a strange sense of unease. The tapping, where was it coming from? She crept out of bed and into the hallway. She saw Tom. He was standing there, forehead pressed against the wall, the tap, tap, still ringing out steadily. Sarah stood frozen, horrified. She knew Tom sleepwalked, but this wasn't ordinary sleepwalking. The next morning, Tom woke up, completely oblivious to the night before. Sarah tried to dismiss her fears, telling herself it was just a nightmare. But worry still simmered within her. Years passed. Tom grew up, left home. Sarah continued to live in the house, with Jake, her youngest son. One night, history repeated itself. The clock struck 1:30 nachts. Sarah heard the tapping. Tap, tap. She ran to Jake's room. The scene before her left her speechless. Jake, just like Tom years ago, was pressing his forehead against the wall, the tapping echoing rhythmically. Memories flooded back, the horrific images of that night, of the nights before, of a whole chain of haunted nights. Sarah felt like she was falling into a never-ending vortex. "No, it can't be," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. Sometime later, Sarah decided to renovate the house. She hired a handyman to replace the old wallpaper. As the handyman pried off the wallpaper, he stopped. His face turned pale, his eyes widened in horror. He trembled, pointing at the wall. Behind the old wallpaper was a large mirror, an antique mirror, covering the entire wall. But the scary thing wasn't the mirror itself. It was the darkness behind the mirror. A deep, bottomless darkness, like a black hole swallowing all light. And in that darkness, something was waiting,